Hello, everybody. My name's Milan Starcic. Welcome to Freedom Rising, a podcast dedicated to empowering individuals on the journey to personal growth, lasting serenity, and freedom from addiction. Tune in and join the movement. Your journey to freedom starts here. We neither represent, promote, or demote any 12-step program or organization. We are merely souls on the path of recovery with the desire to expand our lives and experiences and share them with you. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Recovery Freedom Rising podcast, 183rd episode. I'm Milan Starcic with co-host Andrew Norman and Brandi S. Today's topic is keep no record of wrongs. Andrew, do you want to kick it off?
I would love to, man. It's good to see you guys and gals.
Woo,
I love y'all,
it's
man.
been a lonely week of podcasts.
Lonely, busy week, and but I missed you guys, and we're gonna make up for it right the hell now. Keeping no record of wrongs. This is a really special one. It ties in with that unconditional love piece that we love so much around here. But before I came into recovery, I started thinking about it like this. Like I would carry around what I was thinking about as like a spiritual scorecard. Every resentment, every betrayal, every time anybody fucked me over, every injustice that I thought was an injustice towards me, right? Like I would, real or perceived. Most were perceived, but I kept track of all that shit, and I would keep track, and I didn't even really know that I was keeping track of those things in the back of my mind. I wasn't working a program. I was on drugs, just I didn't have the right things in the right situation set up in my life. I like to look at. So it was a way to justify my anger, to be angry all the time. That self-pity, and it was a way for me to justify when I would relapse, because, and it's really in how you define a relapse. I like to look at it as I never really, until I found these rooms, I would try to quit. So you can call it a relapse or whatever. I just wasn't done using until I found these rooms and I was actually shown the way, that there was a better way to live. So somehow that was protecting me from being hurt again. But what I didn't really realize is that record of wrongs was just chaining me to all that shit in my past, right? It was just keeping me held hostage to that bondage of that shit. So and it kept me spiritually sick. I was completely sick spiritually. And so after working the steps, after getting some clean time, after doing some work on myself, right, leaning into love heavily, learning to forgive, I've learned that, keeping no record of wrongs doesn't mean pretending things don't hurt me or like things didn't never happen, right? It means that I refuse to live in that bondage of that pain to the past, right? And so that kind of opens it up to a bigger discussion, right? But it means freeing my spirit from that poison, right? Like that resentment poison that I like to look at it, because it's poisonous. Those resentments are poison to us, right? In one way or another. And so I got to open my heart to love, humility, grace. I got to give into those good spiritual principles that I'm starting to learn to live by, and not have to like figure out how I'm going to make it spiritual, right? I'm just kind of doing it naturally. The more and more time I get under my belt, the more and more I surround myself with you guys and come in here and talk about it and air my shit out, right? And help other people and be of service, right? It all just works on itself. So pass that to you, Brandizzle. I love you. Freedom.
Wonderful.
That was
Love
good. You
man.
said everything I was going to say.
Sorry.
No, I'm just joking. There's so much more, really. Man, this is one that like, I don't realize that's what I'm doing until I hear the term. Like keeping record of wrongs. Like, wait, what? I do that. I don't necessarily do it today. Doesn't mean I couldn't fall into it, or maybe I don't recognize it so much. But man, did I fall into that a lot when in active addiction. I used to always say, well, I'm gonna keep that one in my back pocket. What does that mean?
I think that's where your records are stored.
Yeah, that's exactly where they're stored.
You're like sitting in a chair like this going, man, something I'm sitting on, I don't know.
Yeah, that's not my wallet. Those are wrongdoings.
That ain't a ghetto booty.
Yeah, no. And really it's like, and like Andrew was saying, like, to justify maybe my actions, or I wouldn't look at things for, I would just instantly react on a feeling. And right there, if I had this feeling that didn't feel good, then you did me wrong. And like, I'm going to remember that. But the worst part probably of it is that this record that I would keep, I didn't necessarily act on it. but it's not like I would like do the same thing back. So I would more or less like, keep it to myself for the most part, which just made it worse. I mean, I think either way is bad, but like, it's like resentments. What I say, it's like drinking the poison and waiting for someone else to die. That's like what my list was about. And it's heavy. It's a heavy thing to carry around.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand like until getting into the program and seeing like what this like growth we grow through things, what a burden that is, and how it just stunts any growth. Like when you think about it, what good comes out of this? What good comes out of keeping a list of wrongs?
Right.
I can't think of one. I was trying to think
Not
about
a
it earlier. Yeah, and I was like, I can't think of anything. Nothing good spiritual comes from it. And again, like when it comes to like forgiving people, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are condoning someone's actions. Like I find for me, especially if I can't talk to the person, I forgive that person for myself, for my spirit, for what I carry, and not not to make them feel better. And so for me, it's a big part. The asking for forgiveness and forgiving people, like because I don't want to carry it. And I wear leggings today, so I a lot. So I don't have pockets to keep that shit in anymore. So
I
so
wear
it's like,
Lululemons.
yeah, right. So I just don't have time for it anymore. It doesn't mean that it doesn't come up, but it's like when I think about it and I dissect that, I don't want any of it. But again, it can still happen. I got teenage kids and a husband. So that can happen still.
Yeah.
I'll leave it right there.
Drop the mic.
Oh, I
Drop
love
the
that.
mic.
I love you guys. I'm
Love
so
you.
happy to be here with you today. It's Canadian Thanksgiving this week, and I would
Thanksgiving.
just
Happy Thanksgiving,
like to
guys.
say that I'd love to
Eat
give
up.
thanks for my brother and sister present on this show, for everybody
you.
out there who has ever watched this show or, taken a moment to watch this show,
Yes.
and for the life that I'm so blessed to have these days.
I
And
second that.
yeah,
Me
man.
too.
And this topic, damn that First Corinthians 13.
Yes. Yes.
It's just like it really has changed my looking at myself. Like, like it's changed, like looking at the depth of how I'm loving, right? And I feel that, the record of wrongs is kind of like a combination of surrender and loving completely, right? Like
Yeah.
if the more you can free yourself from that, obviously the more you've surrendered, and the more you're loving completely. But I went to a meeting this morning, and um, I I think it was on one of the last podcasts that I did with you guys, and I was talking. It came to me that patience is surrender in real time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what came to me at this meeting today was, if an expectation is premeditated resentment, tolerance is premeditated surrender. Because if you're
I
living
like
in
that.
tolerance, if you're living in tolerance of others, it's like you've already surrendered to the perfection of who they really are.
Say that again, Milan.
Okay, so you have surrender, right? Which we're all kind of becoming more familiar with in this journey. And the other week, I think we were doing a podcast, and it came to me while on that podcast that patience is surrender in real time.
Yeah,
Patience is literally surrendering to what's happening and not getting angry about it, right?
agree. Yeah.
But tolerance of others, where it's not necessarily just a reaction, but you just approach people with tolerance, like just like you would with love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tolerance is premeditated surrender.
I like that. I do like
Me
that.
too.
I do like that because you know whether to. It's not like approaching with kid gloves, but you just know that you're coming to this with a heightened sense of surrender, maybe because you're dealing with somebody that's.
And just whoever they are, you're going to accept them.
Yeah.
Like you're literally surrendering to their own perfection, right? And I
Another
think
layer.
for me, one of the biggest things about the record of wrongs is really through tolerance and acceptance of others. Like so much of where I'm seeing is what they're doing or how they're acting wrong in the little plan in my head,
Mm.
and then that's where my resentment is born, and so it's like, I
Yeah.
spent a lot of time with family this week, and there was just a lot of times where I'm like, I just have to let that go. Like, they're just doing the best they can, and we all are, and and just trying to actually, create that premeditated surrender of my interaction with them, because I, I would say that, for myself, it feels like intolerance comes in a human form,
Mm.
like where I'm like, I have some vision of what that person was, and then all of a sudden they're not that, because I have this way of meeting people and putting them on this like love and acceptance pedestal, and it's like I just can't see any of the
Yeah.
flaws, and then all of a sudden the flaws are there, and I'm just like, oh, what do you mean
You're
you're
too
not?
far into back up at that point. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, but
The
but
worst is when someone else points out the flaws. You're like, no, it's not like that. And
I'm
then
like,
it's
how dare
there.
you say
That
Yeah,
that
happens to
about
me.
my
Yeah.
statue?
they're really
Yeah,
good people,
That
man.
yeah.
that
But
happens to
anyway,
me.
I'm going to leave that there. But I certainly love you guys a lot, and I'm ready for some questions.
We're supposed to
Yeah.
come up with questions.
Uh,
Are you new?
Shit,
Is this your
Brandy,
first
Well,
my,
time?
bro, this is my first. All right, Randy, you ready?
Yep.
So,
I'm
how
ready.
does holding on to past wrongs affect your spiritual growth?
Man, it's a great question because like how do I grow if I'm holding on to stuff like that? And I think this is like all the way around, but I speak for myself, but because everybody processes and grows differently for sure. But definitely for me, like if I hold on to that stuff, like I've worked really hard on resentments. I'm like the most loving person, but I can hold resentments big time easily, and nobody knows about them but me. Because I'm too nice to be like, I fucking resent you. And then I don't even with that, I don't try to work on it, because there's always a way to resolve something. And so when I'm holding on to those things and I'm making a record of wrongs, all it's doing is like it's just like another boulder on my shoulder, and I can't really go any further. Like I'm not necessarily going back at that point, but I'm not going any further. And like I was saying before, like what good can we get out of it? Like what good can we? It's like, well, you know what? I have a record of every time on this day at this time you did this to me, so that's why I'm doing this to you. And that's the opposite of what I want. I used to I used to steal shit from my mom, and when I did it with a long record. And I've named them all off in my head every time I stole from her. Like I justified how I acted because you did me wrong. And that's just not that's not healthy for me. It's not healthy in general, but it's not healthy for me. And I want to be able to move past that stuff. I feel I don't have time in my heart and my soul for negativity.
ooh,
Like
Mm.
I just don't,
I
and I
love that.
don't want it. It doesn't mean that it doesn't try to creep in, but I'm just like, I don't know if you guys ever seen that meme with Shaq, and he's like pushing things away, and it's like negativity, anxiety, and all this stuff. I'm like, that's me. That's me. I'm like, get out of here. But
Wiping
and
that
I'm
dirt
all
off your
about
shoulder. Wipe it
that's
out.
right, right? Go away.
I
Mm-hmm.
gotta see
Uh
that one. I haven't seen
I'll have to send it to you. It's pretty funny.
Mm,
I just feel it because I'm like, nope. Because life still gets in the way. People still do things. Just because I want to work on my spirituality and my growth doesn't mean everybody around me is. So it's really about how I'm affected by it versus how other people are acting, or even how I'm reacting. How is it affecting me? And I'm miserable when I do that. I'm miserable when I didn't even think that resentments was something to work on. I thought everybody else just needed to change how they were doing things, and I wouldn't have resentments, right? And today I know that like I just it doesn't have to be like that. So spiritually, it weighs me down, and to be feeling and the way I feel today, I don't want to go backwards in how I feel spiritually at all. Like that's where like the spiritual relapse comes in. Like there's things we got to clean house and make sure things are it's like that inventory we do is good, because I don't want to I don't want that to hold me back in a way that I am with somebody or with myself, or or how I put effort into anything, because that will happen. And when I'm not feeling spiritually fit, like those are the things that get in the way. And those are the things I need to make sure that I'm not letting fester. I have learned that everybody's not the same. Like, and so, and as silly as it is, a lot of my resentments, um, maybe it's not silly, but it seems silly to me, was I'm a little bit of a clean freak, and I expect everybody else to be like that, and it doesn't work like that. I'm a big giver, and it doesn't mean that like everyone else is like that. Like I don't need an attaboy, but like, don't you remember I did that for you? Kind of thing. And
Yeah.
and the worst part is like I don't say it. I think it, and it festers and it adds up. And so releasing that kind of stuff, I mean, I give it to my higher power a lot, because there's sometimes I don't know what to do with it. Like I feel like this is justifiable. I feel this way, but I don't want to feel like this. So, I definitely have to keep surrendering that kind of stuff, because it messes with me all the way around, especially when it comes to spiritual growth. So I'll leave it there.
I love that.
That was beautiful. Like, I don't need to add a boy, man, but to add a girl would be kind of, come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, but a girl, help a girl out,
Right.
You ready, Milan?
I want to tell you one thing that this old timer told me yesterday. Some people say, "Oh, I had a slip."
Mm-hmm.
Sobriety loses its priority.
Ooh.
I thought Andrew would love that one.
Oh, I gotta put it in my book.
And I was like, "Oh, I love that." He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Why would you call it a slip?" He's like, the old timers used to say, "Sobriety loses its priority. You slip."
Priority. I like that. Priority. I love that, man. You just messed me all up. All right, cool.
Okay, question.
So, yep, in a good way. So how does holding on to the past affect your spiritual growth, Milan?
I really like how, I listened to a bunch of the Michael Singer books in this summer, and he has that Untethered Soul, but he also has one, about surrender, and he describes it really well. And I feel like when I visualize this, I can almost feel that happen to myself. But it's like every time you think that you're protecting yourself, you're like actually closing off part of your heart. But the problem with that is that also stops the flow in both directions, from you and to you. And so it's so I feel like with your question there, it's like really holding on to that stuff just closes off my heart to be as open as it can potentially be. And since he said that, and I really started looking at it, like I've always felt like grudges are cancer waiting to happen. But even now, since this damn First Corinthians 13 that has set the bar so ridiculously high in such an epically perfect way, it's changed what I think of as a wrong. Like it used to be like kind of if you just did something I didn't like, but now it's like I catch myself on so many different levels, kind of having that some kind of record about something, like inside myself. And even quite frankly, I would say my biggest record sheet is for me still to this day, even with the step work. Like I'm really excited because we started like the the step like boot camp that my new sponsor's doing, and it's intense, man. She's like, wow, at the table. It's like, hold on, grab your highlighter, get a new book, we're gonna start new, let's go. And I'm like, whoa, like I came out of there and I was just like exhausted and like in the best way.
Your hair's pushed back and your lips are flapping and you're like,
I felt like my clothes were shredded and it's like coming out of a volcano. But it was amazing. It was amazing. But so I just think that for me, I didn't have a good set of instructions for life. I feel like the steps were one of the first real good ones that I had to make any progress forward. And it's a lot of work to start from scratch again. So it's like I just have to look and be like, okay, you know, now I'm aware of more of this. Now I can start addressing it. And even if it's one step forward, six steps back, like, you know, at least I'm at a point where hopefully I'm progressing with it. But I feel that I'm already keeping much less record of wrong just because I have that little voice in my head now that just, it's like, no record of wrongs, no record of
Mm-hmm.
wrongs. Like it's like a sensor of when I'm sucking.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And before that wasn't even that wasn't even there. Like before it was actually a delusion that you were wronging me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Like
man.
and
It's that
that was
acknowledgement.
the
Once we
wrong.
acknowledge.
And it's like
Yeah.
my intolerance and my lack of acceptance had me so wrapped tight. I believed it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but that's really cool. I love how you symbolize that in a way where it's like that siren. It's like that siren. It's almost like, hey, you can do this if you want to, but like, Fafo, fuck around, find out. Like,
Yeah.
you know, if you
It
want to do
literally is like this little voice, like record of wrongs,
it,
record of
yeah.
wrongs. Like it's almost like
Like,
this
hey,
fucking parrot, but
yeah.
not in a parrot, more like a.
Chirp, chirp.
But it's like it
Mm-hmm.
literally, I
I
can
love
hear
that.
it.
Love that. Love that. So, you done, Mr. Milan?
Mm.
Trying to make sure I didn't cut you off or nothing, man.
No, nope. I
So,
rolled it
Andrew,
smoothly into town.
so LLA, how does holding on
Right.
to past wrongs affect my spiritual growth? It's a big one. When I started thinking about it and I was listening to y'all, uh, I really see it as like it stops. My spiritual growth stops when I'm doing that. You know, in those instances, and when they start piling up, like it's really hard for me to do anything positively in a spiritual nature. You know, it's almost like trying to move forward and run like a marathon, but you have like a like you know, the way I thought about it when y'all were talking, you ever seen those like strongman competitions where they put a big rope on you and then they have like a big
Yeah.
rig behind them and they're trying to pull that big rig and they're like, you know,
Yeah.
just trying to, every step is like death, right? And
Yep.
it's like I think about like that's how I would be walking if like as I'm keeping these records of wrongs. And if I'm not trained up to be able to walk that distance, like every step that I'm going to take is just, I'm going to get slower. I'm going to get slower. I'm going to get more beat down. I'm not going to be able to make to the finish line at all. Like I might not even be able to get started. And then as y'all were talking, it rolled into, yeah, you got to keep that momentum going, right? Like you might get a couple steps back, but as long as that truck continues to roll, even just a
Yeah.
little bit, you'll be able to keep going. Like, but if it stops completely, bro, like just getting that moment, getting it to actually the wheels to move again on that bus is tough. It's so tough.
Yeah.
So thank you, Milan, for kind of bringing that up and bringing that full circle for me, because that's really, really good in my mind. Now I can full circle that picture because, you know, as long as I stay, you know, and it's about training, quote unquote, going into that race, right? Because if I can know the spots on the you know, on the actual field itself, maybe I'll get that bottle of water that I wasn't expecting or whatever it is to get me over that hump. But resentment feeds my disease, right? If I'm holding on to these boulders, man, I'm putting them boulders in my backpack, it feeds my disease. It tells me I'm justified in being angry all the time. It tells me I'm justified in being a bitter ass dude. It tells me I'm justified in being like a self-righteous asshole. You know, it gives me a false sense of power, like I'm doing it, you know. And if I hold on to the memory, like what you did to piss me off and me to be wrong, you know, to feel wrong about the situation, then somehow I can still control it. It's about that control as an addict, man. But what it really, really does, now that I think about it, and now that I've done a little work, got a little clean time, like the only thing it does is it poisons my spirit, man. It poisons me if I do that.
Yeah.
I get poisoned. You know, you talked about it earlier, Brandi. It's like drinking that poison, expecting Milan to pass out because I drank it,
Yeah. Yep.
right? Like on like secondhand
It's
smoke. Come on, man. Not how it
yeah.
works, right? It's gonna always eat away at my peace, and I've worked too hard. We talk about that peace all the time. I've worked too hard to get it. I've worked too hard to get it. So now I have to do everything. I have to do everything to maintain it. What does peace stand for, guys? Positive energy always creates elevation.
Ooh.
I said that last time, but I'm going to say it again. And then pray every day and cherish everything. Pray every day and cherish everything. Peace, man. Peace. Got to have it, bro. So when I hold on to my past wrongs, what I can't do is I can't hear him clearly. Cause I'm fogged up. You know, I'm thinking about all these wrongs and resentments and all these things outside of my control. So I can't hear him properly. I might be able to hear him. It's just not coming through. The message ain't coming through clear enough. Where I'm going to be able to act on his word, right? So that's how I kind of think about it. What it also does, and this is very important, is it blocks me from seeing the humanity in other people.
Yeah.
You with me? Like I label people by their mistakes. You know, I start seeing them through the lens of you wronged me and you pained me in some way. So I can't have that. You know, and that's the opposite of what I'm trying to do here. That's the absolute 100% opposite of what we're trying to do, is create connection and create some community and create some bonds with other people to help us through, right? And it goes so much deeper. It goes so much deeper than just that surface level of it. You know, it's about my relationship with myself. If I start rehearsing like my own hurts so often that they become a part of my identity, I'm fucked. Like I'm done.
Yeah.
Like I'm done. I'm just gonna be that dude that doesn't even look you in the face when I walk in the door, man. Like I'm not even gonna be present in the moment at all, let alone be able to thrive in my environment. Not gonna happen, man. So I notice when I hold on to that, my spiritual energy is heavy. Right? I'm sludging, I'm not dredging. What is it? Sledging, not dredging? What is that, Milan? So I'm not dredging, I'm sludging. So the longer I hold that shit inside to me, look, I think about it like this. It's like saying I'm gonna clean my house but refusing to take the trash out. Right? It's like I'm gonna clean my fucking house. You get all the trash, but you get all the trash bags all up in there, and then you just keep this trash in the house.
Yeah.
And then what happens? You can clean all the outside of the house, but your house is gonna start stinking from the inside out, man. Like it's gonna stink. It's gonna stink. You gotta take the trash out, man. You got like you did all that work. You did all that work to get it all bagged up, right? You talked to all these people, then you're just not gonna walk it out to the trash and put it out to the street.
Right.
And as an addict, it's real easy to not do that last step.
Yeah.
And just be like, fucking be like, did all this work, and then to not take the trash out. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You do all this shit to get all that help, and then you're like, it ain't worth it. I ain't gonna do it.
Yeah.
That's our disease.
You said
man.
it was good enough, and it's not. Good enough isn't it?
Nope.
Yeah.
So
ironically, it's trash day for me too. So
tomorrow morning for me.
Yeah. Tomorrow morning, but I'm taking my trash out.
God is a beautiful thing. God is amazing. He works in mysterious ways. If nothing else, we had this podcast to remind Brandi that it's trash day.
Yes. Yeah, because it just changed. So I'm just getting used to this.
You're welcome. Brandi.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm done.
Okay.
All right.
I'm sorry.
All right. No, that was good. That was good. I'm gonna my trash is always gonna be taken out now.
I have problems.
Oh man. Okay. All right, Milan.
Yes.
What fears keep you from holding on to wrongs others have done?
Okay, say that again.
Yes.
What fears keep you holding on to wrongs that others have done?
Okay. Oof. Okay. Like I'm gonna think of the.
What fears keep you from holding on to what people's done?
Yeah, like
keep
the fear of letting them go. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think probably the most common thing that has come up for me recently is like fear of not being respected. You know, and the thing about that I've kind of learned from my sponsor recently is that the only person responsible for respecting me and treating me kindly is me.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like that whole thing that my sponsor said about that's not other people's jobs. Like, you know, I can choose to not be around that person anymore, but most of the time it's a feeling of some kind of disrespect or lack of kindness towards me. And then it's like, well, and I'm not proud of it when it happens, but then it's like it opens the door for me to be allowed to be a jerk for a little while.
Mhm.
And I don't really,
Yeah.
I'm not condoning that for me anymore, and I'm not condoning that as an acceptable action. So it's, it's me like drawing these like false roles for other people that I think that quite frankly, like they don't want and they don't deserve, and
They don't know they have.
they don't know they have. Well, they know after the first time,
Yeah.
but they're not like, hey, that sounds like a great job. Does it have benefits? Like,
Yeah.
they're definitely not like that.
Good 401k on that, Jake. Come
And
on, man.
Yeah.
but it's I think that, to be honest, the tolerance and the checking on keeping the record of wrongs, it literally can be practiced, like in like much like you can practice gratitude. Like that little voice in my head is helping me modify my behavior, and because it's keeping it from going as long or as deeply as it could. Like when I start feeling a
Yeah.
resentment like that and keeping that record of wrong towards someone, it can go a lot longer than a few seconds before a thing goes beep 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 beep, in my head. So I do think that, for myself, is that it is something that for sure I need to surrender, but it is also something that I have a part to play in. Like
Mhm.
when I can recognize that I'm doing it, it's like I have to call myself out on it in order to start modifying it. At least for
Yeah.
me. And I like, everybody's different. Some people might just be like, okay, I'm done and it's over, but that's not me.
Mm.
Yeah.
I
I
like
think
that.
that's it for me.
Oh, that's dope.
That made me think about I'll say it real quick. When I was talking with my sponsor last week, and it's about like self-talk or like how we like negative thoughts and stuff like that. And mine's about like my chronic pain in my leg. But anyway, she says that that thought has embedded a path into your head. So it's gonna go. You have to
Mm,
like redirect that every time because it's just so used to going in that same. And I feel like that is the same. We're so used to doing it this certain way, but we want to do it differently. So we have to like catch it in the moment. Like, hey, you know. So I
Uh,
liked your answer though. Made me think about that.
that was dope. Love you, Milan.
All right.
And
I
Brandi.
love
Yeah, I
both
love
of you
you.
guys.
All right, Andrew. What fears keep you holding on to the wrongs others have done?
It's a great question. It's a great question. What does fear stand for, Brandi? I'll let you say it.
I don't know. I'm like, you
Future.
got too many. Like, too
Future
many of them.
Everything
events
in
Oh,
already
rise.
ruined. The new
I need
one.
I need my own little black book. Okay,
Future events already ruined.
I want to
You
put it like
need like a shared
alphabetized.
Google document.
Yes.
The truth is, man, like when I can't let go of what someone else has done to me, it's not because I want to stay angry. It's really because I'm just afraid deep down, right? It's just because
Yeah.
I'm afraid, and I don't want people to know that I'm afraid. Why is she caught? She knows not to FaceTime me right now, and I'm in the middle of a thing. I don't know why she does this every single time.
I think you
Um,
should just take the call. Let's pull her on the show.
nah, it's why, and it might be Ez, it might be my stepson calling because he'll just take her phone and
Oh,
call. So
he'll love to come on the show.
if he
Yeah.
calls again, I'll answer. So, one of the biggest fears that really does keep me stuck is like the fear of being hurt again, right? Because I
Yeah.
come in here a very hurt person. And so I'm trying to protect myself and put that gate and shield up so that I don't get hurt again. But the reality is like I can't run from being hurt. Like we're all gonna get hurt
Yeah.
throughout our lives in one way or
Life on
another.
life terms.
Right. And so like I feel like when I think about this question deep down, like if I forgive you, my disease whispers that like you're letting your guard down and like I'm becoming vulnerable and I might get hurt again. All in one fell swoop, like it all just like that. It all just happens. I don't know if y'all can relate to that, where it's like
Mm-hmm.
it all just it's like uncontrollable. That's how it just happens in my head, and my ego like mistakes like forgiveness for weakness. It
Yeah.
convinces that me like if I let go, that I'm gonna lose some kind of control or like self protection. You know, and she's calling you too. Damn, I told her. Another fear that holds me back is like the fear of like minimizing what happened. Like somewhere deep down, I think if I let go, I'm saying that what you did was okay, right? And that's not the case. And it's like, look, it's like fear of me looking like I'm weak in that case. You know, if I acknowledge it and I forgive that, then like I'm acknowledging that what you did to hurt me was okay, and that's not what I want. That's not what I want to outwardly portray either. But one of the main things the first thing that came to my head when you said this, Brandi, was like the fear of losing my identity as the one who was wronged. Also, being a victim gave me a purpose, like a sense of purpose, right? Like if it justified my pain, my anger, my lack of control. You know, when I let like that go of like the story, if I let go of me being the victim, I would have to face my shit. Like I'd have to face everything that I'm doing, right? I have to come to the terms of like, hey, this is what you did. This is why we don't do this. This is how we need to act going forward. I couldn't get to that point. I couldn't get to that point. So I would almost feel like I would always be scared to lose my identity and not be the victim. Right. I didn't have that scapegoat. It was almost like an ace in the hole, you know? So then it rolls into like the fear of not trusting again. Like I feel like I can't trust anybody anymore. And it's really just my own fear, like it's my own insecurities with myself and how I'm not a trustworthy person at this point in my life. Really. And that's where it comes up. It's like if somebody's cheating on their husband or wife, like they're going to be in their ass about them cheating because they're cheating, right? Because they know what they're doing. And it's really just their insecurities. Because they're doing it and they're out there looking when they're out at the mall, they're looking at ass walking around, seeing what's out there, right? It's just a different mentality. So, you know, the fear of like letting go of the past version of me, even though that's not who I wanted to be, is a tough thing that you got to get over, you know, because you can still be the same person just without all that shit too. You know what I mean? It's possible. You know, but a lot of people when they come in here, they got to find a completely brand new identity, and you don't have to, but you can do that too. You can absolutely do that. I mean, you can do whatever you want to coming in here. You can be a completely different person, dude. You know, if that's what you want to be. You know,
I don't think I could have stayed being the same person, and stayed straight. Like it required a massive change.
I'm not going to say you can't. I'm not going to say you can't, but it's.
I'm saying I'm saying I couldn't.
Yeah.
I'm saying I couldn't. For
me
sure. Like 100%. Not even remotely, you know, and
deep down we just want to be understood, man. You know, we just want to be understood. So that's where all this stems off of. Like, I just want to be understood, man. And I don't have to like get back at people for what I think they did to me all the time. And I can let shit go. That's where the surrender process comes in. It's so powerful. I can let shit go today, man. That's where the ultimate power comes. You surrender. Love you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Beautiful.
I love it.
I love that.
Love you guys, man.
So what fears are keeping me from holding on to wrongs others have done? Kind of a lot of what you guys said was how I feel like I'm afraid that it's fear. So fear right there. And it's like a defense, it would be a defense mechanism because I don't want to get hurt. So I'm going to, keep it in my back pocket just in case I need to do this. But my fear of, when it does come up and what I've, thought of in the past or whenever, like, I don't want someone to think they can treat me like that. Like, why do you think that that's okay to treat me like that? And it goes back to like, treat people the way you want to be treated, but not everybody's going to treat you that way, even if you treat them the way you want to be treated. And so my big thing is like, because when I was younger too, like I'm a super, super nice person. I mean, I could be the opposite, but I'm I'm a giver. It's what I am. So when it comes to like I've been taken advantage of a lot of my kindness being taken advantage of. And so for me, it's like, well, I don't want someone to take advantage of me. So I'm just going to keep track of this. So to make sure that they don't do this to me again, because I'll forget, but for me, I let those things go. And I would think like today is not so much of like a keeping a record, but I think in my own human nature, it's like okay, well, I'm not going to fuck with this person anymore. I just kind of like, instead of keeping a record, I'll just kind of back up a little bit because you can't change anybody else. But my big thing I would definitely say is, because people will treat you the way you let them treat you also. Even I've seen some of the nicest people end up being bullies because the other person wouldn't say anything. And so I don't want anyone to my big fear is that people think they could step on me, or that I won't like it doesn't bother me or something like that, when really it does. And but today, and thank God to this program, my recovery, because even times like when I wasn't in the depth of my addiction, like I didn't look at it the way I do today. And today I can just kind of, instead of trying to hold on to it and having the fear, just letting it go. And I don't have to, I can not mess with someone, like, I'll just keep my distance a little bit. I'm not gonna go tell them where to stick it, but I just don't need to be around them as much because I feel like it's affecting me a little bit. And I get to do that today. And so that helps with the fear of people treating me the way I don't want to be treated. Doesn't mean that I'm on a pedestal and I should be treated a certain way, but there are people out there that just aren't, just don't mix. And I have been people's whipping posts in the past, and that's not who I am today, and I don't want to be. But my kindness can definitely be mistaken for something like that. um I don't, this isn't on it really, but my big thing is like I'm super nice, but I go from like it's okay to fuck you. Like I really got to find that middle and stay at it. I've
No,
I've
we're
worked on
good.
it.
We're good. Eat shit and die, motherfucker.
Exactly, because like I'm like I gotta, so I still
Sorry.
work on that middle part, because I don't want to tell someone to fuck off, but then I don't want to also I don't want to feel a certain way. I don't want to. I don't think that relationships or friendships are there's not space for that. And so, but again, if I was to say why I would hold on to it, it would be the fear of that somebody would thinks they could treat me a certain way, and like I don't want to be anyone's whooping post, because it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good when it's just easier to not say something, let someone act the way that they are. I think it's almost worse. And so, and even if I don't hold on to things like I used to, like we were talking about, doesn't mean it doesn't try to creep in. I'm human. I'm around people. We're all different. We all bring something different. And I also try to look at today, I try to look at why people are the way they are. Why would that person do that? Like I almost like like I'm their therapist, but they don't know it. Like this is why they probably did that. So I'm not gonna hit on them because that's shitty. Yeah, if they only knew that I cured them already. Yeah.
Talk about the rapist. You talking about the rapist for, man? We talked
I'll leave
about
it
that, haven't
there.
we, Milan?
Yeah.
On the rapist, haven't we talked about therapists being the rapists
Yeah.
on here before? One of our first episodes, we talked about that. I remember.
I think I saw that one.
Yeah, I think it's pretty
Yeah.
ridiculous that that's in the word.
Yeah.
It's kind of troubling.
It is.
Yeah,
It
right?
is.
Right?
It is.
All right,
That's
Milan,
funny.
you ask
Okay.
Andrew.
So, okay. Andrew, what was one time you've seen this keeping a record of wrong happening in you, and were you able to let it go?
That's a great question, Milan. Ask it one more time.
Okay, what was one time you've seen this keeping record of wrong happening in you, and were you able to let it go?
Yeah. So, keeping record of wrongs and where I was able to let it go. That happens a lot. I mean, it happens a lot in like a microcosm, like all these main. Like I don't have a bunch of these happening all the time, but I feel like it happens where something will happen in my life, and then I'll have a negative thought about it, or I'll gossip with somebody or talk shit, and then I quickly catch myself, whether it's the person I'm talking to corrects me, or I'm like I get started, and then I'm backed up immediately with like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, where are we going with this? What do we have to gain from this? Do you need to be doing what you're doing? Does it need to? What is it? Does it need to be said? Does it need to be said by you? or does it need to be said right now? Like, there's one of those weird things that come into my mind where like, but I catch myself doing this a lot, keeping record of wrong, and for silly reasons too. Like, I'll just not like the way somebody conducts themselves in a meeting or something, and then I'll like keep a little record of like, hey, bro, I don't like the way that dude acts, or like he doesn't know how to mute himself right or wrong, and then I'll keep a little record like that dude's a dick, and then but then it goes quick. It phases, it fizzles out, right? It used to be one of those things where it's like, man, as soon as I met you and I labeled you, it was like, all right, you're categorized, and then I'm gonna put you in that house, and you're gonna stay in that house, and there's nothing you can do to get out of it. But now I can look at people. It's a just for today program. I try to wipe that slate clean every day. Yeah, it doesn't work every day, but like, there are some people that are consistently on my shit side for one reason or another, and I pray hard for them. For one reason or another, I just can't get over that hump of letting it go. But for the most part, I don't have like a specific instance, but there's a lot of these little times where there's people in our meeting right now. There's one dude in general that literally doesn't know how to mute, and he just talks. And he's a newer comer, but like, I literally want to wring his neck, and it's so awkwardly to where like it's the worst. It's the absolute worst. And I love this kid. And I'm not his sponsor. He just signed up to perhaps one of my really good friends be his sponsor. And like, I'm getting ready to have a talk with him, because I'm like, bro, like if I was his sponsor, I would even have the talk of like, hey, bro, stop making me look bad. Just do this. Learn what that mute button is. You're not. I was gonna say somebody else's name. I love him, but it's like, bro, like, shut the fuck up. Mute, man, mute. And we've even called him out. Even today, I had to do it a couple times in an earlier meeting, and I just want to come through the screen and like just smack him a couple times. And I know once he gets it said to him in a certain way, hopefully, unless he's just ignorant, he'll do it. But like, it bothers me, man. It really bothers me. But that's just me. That's me. And it doesn't get past just it bothering me. I don't act on it. I'm not like, hey, you're an asshole. I might talk to his sponsor, or like,
what if he listens to this podcast?
Oh, he might. That would be great. That would be great. That would be great, because he'll know exactly who he is, because after today, he kind of knows there's a little out there where like he needs to tighten up, man. Like, we're not at recess. Like, this is a great time. We're having a good time. Like, we're not at recess, man.
That's great.
We can't have another juice box when you get done with that one. No.
Yeah.
No.
One juice box only.
No,
okay?
One juicy boxer. No.
I'm keeping a record of juice boxes.
Y'all just got me scared. He's boxes. Like, what if he watches this podcast? Like, right now. We're like, oh no. Mute yourself, man. Easy.
That is funny.
Love you guys, man.
I love you too. Okay, Brandi, what was one time you've seen this keeping record of wrong happening in you, and were you able to let it go? And if so, how, actually? Whoa, that's even
one juice box. That's how.
Only one.
Can name this podcast One Juice Box.
If you want one, that would be dope. If you want one tomorrow, though, you better be good today.
Right. I think that when it comes to, I kind of liked how the area that you did go to, Andrew, when it comes to meetings, because there's a lot of things that like outside of meetings that I've definitely tried to keep it down to one juice box, if you know what I mean. And
it's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a thing. The juice box, I can already tell. Paperwork, juice box.
Man, and but when it goes to meetings, like, I'll just say, like, the uncomfortable for me. Like, we had recently in my home group had a business meeting, and I was very upset about something, and it's stupid. And I still feel the same way, but at the same time, I had to pull back. And so for me, it was like, I was pissed. And it's not even anything really to be mad about, but it was still, I could give all these reasons why I felt like it could be. But I had to kind of like pull back. And that's what I can do. What I do is like, I kind of pull back. And otherwise, because I don't want to go to that full extreme and then have to make amends about something. Because I can do that today, but I don't like to. No one likes paperwork, right? And so for me, it was like I had to, after about a day or two, I was actually praying about it. I was like, I don't want to feel like this. Like, I know that I'm doing this because in a defense way, like I'm trying to, like, I don't know, isolate myself or something. But I had to like just drop it in my mind, you know? Like I don't need to be thinking of well that it should have been like this or should have said like that. Well, I don't get this. That's me making a list of wrongs. And what am I going to do with it? Nothing, because especially when it's my home group and it's people that I can't even measure the love because it's so much. And and I don't want to feel like that. It could even been a mood that I didn't know I was in or something, you know, but it's something that I definitely had to catch myself about a day or so later, like, I don't want to feel like this negativity. It's not doing anything to anybody but me. And what is it doing? You know, like, and I could have sat there if I didn't, I don't know, have the connection that I do have with my home group or the tools that I have today. Oh, I could have festered. I could have just sat there and made it all about me, and which it's not. And but I would have found a way. Would have found a way. So there's times I just have to like pull back and like whatever list I think I got, put it in the trash because it's not, you know, some of these are just feelings or a perspective or a mood or something, you know. And I'm grateful to be able to see that today because I think that's how relationships last when you're able to throw away that list. You know, like we sometimes we make them and we can't help it, but what we do with it, you know, don't put it in your pocket. Just recycle it. Actually, don't throw it. Just recycle. You could burn it even, but it's so I've learned that, you know, I've learned that recently that it's, you know, and you don't always catch it right away. Sometimes mid thought, sometimes the next day, but it's something that I definitely like to try to learn from. Rather, if I'm the only one getting a lesson, that's fine because it's affected me. But but at the same time, it still happens, you know, it still does happen. And not everybody thinks the same. Not everybody, that's a big thing because it's like something that makes perfect sense to one person could be completely wrong to another or and wrong in general. And and I know for myself, and this is how I feel other people probably feel is it's not about one person's perspective on something. It's about a whole. And and I wasn't thinking in a whole at that moment. And so, yeah, that's my answer. I feel kind of good saying that
It's
because I kind of
beautiful.
been
I love
kind
that.
of been thinking about it, and and I think also I had talked to one person, and not in like a bash way or whatever, but it just made me look at it differently, you know. And I'm
Mhm.
like, you know, I need to just drop this shit because it's only weighing on me. But I'm very happy that to be able to go through something like that and get through it, and it's you know the love is still strong. So that's right. Hashtag LLA.
Love you.
You know,
Love
like,
you.
I think you brought up a really good point, and I think what you were saying there, Brandy, really ties back into the tolerance thing.
Mm,
Like, you know, and I think one thing we haven't fully tied into it as well is gratitude and tolerance
yeah.
are probably our two strongest weapons against
Yeah.
keeping that record of wrongs.
That's a great point.
You know, like, I mean, if you're thinking something positive about
Patience.
somebody, you know,
Patience in there.
patience is surrender in real time. Like, we're
Yeah,
talking.
that's well. There you go. There you
Yeah.
go.
but
Yeah.
but the thing is if we can stay grateful about someone at that very moment, we're not thinking a negative thought. You know, you know, for me, for this question, like, it was one time I saw this happening in me, and I was able to let it go. Like, we went in a restaurant, and my relatives don't speak English, and
Hmm.
so then, you know, my mom's gonna listen to this. So, Mom, I've already said sorry to you about
What's
this.
up, Mom?
I
Love you.
get kind of made my amends, but I'm telling the story only to highlight, like, you know, how taking someone else's inventory is really not where it's at. And
Yeah.
you know, she was kind of joking with the waitress about not speaking another language to be able to like facilitate my family's lack of speaking English. And I was just like, okay, like, you know, like, that's kind of like, I'm pretty sure that, you know, we don't get English at every restaurant in Slovakia, you know,
Mm.
like, anyway, though, I think it was kind of like, I felt like by the end admit that I had taken her inventory. And then she actually did apologize to the waitress, which I want to say shout out to my mom for that. but really, it wasn't my place to say anything in that. And in in my own analysis of myself, I was being intolerant and I wasn't being grateful and I wasn't seeing her in her perfection at that moment. And all that is me. All that is me keeping a record of wrong, even if it's one thing, and even if it's right in the moment. It's like I'm making something wrong about her or her actions. And that's when I look at that phrase, keeping a record of wrong. It's like we are labeling something or somebody as bad.
Yeah.
Like wrong never means right.
And who are we?
Wrong never means good. Wrong never means good.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like, hey Milan, you're wrong. I'm like, awesome. Like I am about some things. Like I'm very happy to be wrong about something that's hurting myself and learning a way to change, But
Yeah.
but when it comes to somebody else or their actions, it's just it's a negative thing. And I
Yeah.
just don't like loving completely doesn't mean projecting negative on anybody. There's nothing about making somebody else's actions or somebody as a core negative. And I think that for myself, it was a massive lesson. Like I thought about it a lot. We had a lot of driving time in that, and I was like, pretty shitty keeping a record of wrong, Starcic. And
Mm.
but I do feel that there's been an education in it. But I just wanted to say again that I feel that gratitude and you know gratitude and what was the other thing there that I just said? Gratitude and tolerance. Like they're two
Tolerance. Yep.
things that we can flex. They're two things that we can flex at this. And I think that they're good things to practice flexing.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think
Because
so.
when you do that, you grow. And what is grow standing for? God rewards our willingness, or God rewards our work. And then there's change involved. What does change stand for? CHANGE. Choosing honesty allows new growth every day. Also stands for connection or community helps all navigate growth every day. Come on, man. Come on.
Man,
You
I like it.
You're an anagram, Andrew.
Yes. That's what they had. Another guy in our meeting the other
An
day.
Andrew Graham.
Danny from our
Andrew Graham.
podcast was in our
An
meeting.
Andrew Graham.
He called me acronym Andrew. Or acronym
great.
Andrew is what he put in there. AA. Acronym Andrew. It's kind of
That's so
I love it.
funny.
Go ahead.
That is so
I'm done.
funny.
I don't even know why I said that.
I think you got to ask Brandi a question.
Okay.
I think I was done.
You ready, Miss Brandizzle?
I'm
Free
ready.
now.
Ready.
Why is forgiving yourself part of keeping no record of wrongs?
Man, that's a big one. When I did amends, they were all powerful, right? But the amends to myself, like forgiving myself, for the wreckage. Like I don't think I realized the wreckage I did to myself until I had to put it on paper. Also, but it is huge. I still struggle with things that I hold on to, which I'm working with my sponsor constantly, and like it's heavy to feel that way, and it's so light to forgive yourself. And for me, it's like whenever I've talked to somebody, like either a sponsor or anyone else, like when it comes to the steps, I'm like, wait until you do amends to yourself. You never cried yet? I don't know why, but you're gonna cry then. And because today I love myself, I love myself. Even my the flaws that I still work on, or maybe I haven't seen yet. Or but I love, oh, I gotta hear my dog coughing. But I love myself. And so with that, it's like it's important for me to be able to forgive myself for things that I've done in the past, and even ways that I've acted, and if it was to be something that has to do with like, keeping wrongs or keeping resentments or something like that. Like I gotta be able to like know that I'm progress. I am a work in progress, and that's okay, because today I'm working on it. Because Brandi back in the day would not have, I would not looked at it the same way. Like I would have, instead of like forgiving myself, I would have been like, I'm going to tell you everything that's wrong, so you'll feel bad for me. I'd rather someone feel bad for me than me forgive my own actions on how I did something, or how I was. And
Sick.
yeah, it's one of the most freeing things out there. Like all the steps, and every angle, and every resentment list or fears or whatever you do, they're all, I mean, they all in order for a reason, but they're all powerful. But there's something about when we are speaking to ourselves, and because for me it was huge, because there's a lot of stuff that I went through, or that I put myself through, or the lists I kept, or that was was it was so chaotic in my head and how I felt. And I just wanted to wake up and feel good about myself. Like I want to wake up and not feel my stomach rolling because I did something stupid, or I did something stupid, nobody knows about it, but I know about it. And so today, it's a big thing. There's still things that maybe I'll come across. I can't think of it, but I know I'm obviously not perfect. Things come up and I can forgive myself easily, because I know that I gotta kind of go through things in order to learn how to do things again. I may be 4 years in, but I'm in the very beginning of my recovery still, and how to do things. And that's even forgiving myself. And there's sometimes that I forget that I love myself. I'll say it like that. Like I forget that, like, I'm grateful for who I am today. Every part, even the quirky things and the uncomfortable things, because I have that ability to love all of that. And when you can let go of burdens, or things that have been holding you back towards yourself, it's so beautiful. For me, it was like one of the most empowering parts of my steps was being able to forgive me for what I put myself through. Like, allowed myself to be the victim. I allowed myself to be the stupid one. I allowed myself to be the whipping post, and all that stuff. And to love myself now, and not let that, like, it's a huge, I think living amends, you do it to yourself too. I just keep on loving myself, and that's me forgiving my past, forgiving who I was and what I've done to others and to myself. So it's a beautiful question. I'll leave it right there.
That was beautiful. You know what I was thinking about real quick, Milan? Your slip, SLIP, because we're not sober in the fellowship that we attend. I switched it around to surrender loses its priority.
Whoa! I knew you were gonna find something with that. I knew it.
I can't be in an NA meeting talking about
or
sobriety.
serenity loses.
I had serenity, but then I went surrender. Just trumps the serenity. So I went surrender. Boom. Done.
Yeah,
I like
Love it.
Or spirituality loses its priority.
That's a good one too. That's a good one. That's a good one. But surrender is the jam. I mean, that's the one.
Yeah,
that's the one.
It is. Okay.
All right. So where we at?
I need the question from you.
You ready? Milan, we must know. Why is forgiving yourself part of keeping no record of wrongs for you?
Well, I think it's funny because when I was listening to Brandi, and when you first said the question, it's like, I think I have a greater optimism about others' ability to change than myself. Like, if I look at how I keep an internal record, I'm way harder on me than you. I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm going to let that go about Brandi, and I might not think about it till I see Brandi again. But I'm sitting with me, and if I do something and I'm like, record of wrong, like on me, that is so much harder for me not to be reminded of in different instances and actions or whatever in a certain time frame. And so, I think if I'm keeping a record of wrong, I'm not living presently. And if I'm not living presently, I have zero conscious contact. If I have zero conscious contact, the chance of me staying straight is now greatly diminished. If I have no ability to live presently or be consciously contact and I'm keeping a record of wrong, there's a good chance that I'm not actually having a real big psychic change.
Preach, Milan, preach.
Like a psychic change, man. And without that psychic change,
hallelujah,
I ain't got no freedom.
Woo!
I
I ain't got no freedom.
I hear the word.
And the word is surrender.
Hallelujah.
You guys are
I want to
great.
love and I want to surrender.
Bro, that's beautiful.
And if I'm just looking at myself in the past, where's present Milan in the past? And then you're looking at me and I can't hear you now. I can't hear nothing.
Oh, man.
That's like,
Oh my God.
that's like, come back to the present, Andrew.
Okay. I can walk now.
He surrendered.
I got legs. I got
You guys
legs.
are so
I
funny.
can walk. Oh, man, that was beautiful,
That's great.
man.
That is great.
And it's
That cracked
really
me up.
self-worth and love being absent.
Yeah.
You know, absent for myself, you know. And I see in how many ways I would punish myself for that. You know, and like that, like whether it was a lack of caring about myself, whether it was what I was eating, whether it was what I was putting into my system, but it was also about what I would say to myself inside after I'd done something wrong. You know, like it's like I would take myself to the emotional abuse whipping post.
Yeah.
You know, and things that I would think or say about other people, I'd be saying to myself. And it would just echo in there, same as other good things could, you know. And so it's a really crazy process because, you know, I don't think that we're gonna all of a sudden change the way we think right away, like you know.
Yeah.
But I do think that we can now set goalposts of what we'd like to be thinking about, and I think if we don't do like the crazy thing that I was thinking, like while Brandi was talking, was a moral inventory is really a fucking written record of my wrongs. Like, whose kid knew? Like, it actually says in the steps to keep a record of your wrongs, even if you're going to do it to let it go or to learn what to change. You know, like, it literally says that we create this record to surrender it, right? And so, like, we're actually told to see what we've got recorded as our record of wrongs, because the stuff that is bothering us is the stuff that's keeping us from being free. So, you know, we need to look at our record, but not cherish it, surrender it. And that's the crazy thing about it. But we're actually told in the steps to take a look at our record of wrongs for ourselves. You know, and it's a column called My Part.
Why are you giving them the secret sauce? Stop telling them the secret sauce, man.
and that my part is the part that I have to stop or surrender, you know?
Yeah.
And some of it is in my power to stop, and some of it, it's like I need help to do that because I haven't been able to get rid of that bad habit my whole life. So
that's when you let go.
Oof, man, I don't even know if I answered the question, but I fucking love
if
you.
We're not charging money for this podcast, we're not gonna be able to air this one, man. You're giving out too much secret sauce, bro. I don't feel good with this one. I don't know, man.
Please send money to Andrew at hashtag LLA at PayPal.com.
LLA. Yes, sir. Send all the love emojis you can. We got you.
Yeah.
We'll call it hashtag LLA one juice box.
Yeah. One more juice box.
Road to one juice box. So GoFundMe to one juice box.
The golden juice box.
No record of no wrongs, man. All right. So is it my answer to my question?
Yeah.
All right. So why is forgiving myself part of my keeping no record of wrongs for me? It's a great question. Y'all really knocked it out of the park, man. I really don't have anything else to say, so I'm going to try, though, because I'm good at talking sometimes. Forgiving myself, bro, it's literally like one of, if not the hardest thing to do in this process, to really do that as I think about it. But it's one of the most hardest, but it's absolutely one of the most necessary things for us to do in the process. If we want to stay clean long term and really grasp the things that are trying to be given to us in this program and what life is trying to give us, right? We're stop fighting life. We want to embrace life. This is essential for us to do this. You know, I thought I thought it really had, forgiveness was just something that I only had to give other people. When I was uneducated, it was just something I had to give to those people that wronged me or hurt me or whatever it was. Meanwhile, knowing that like my slow roll down was because I was keeping that mental scorecard on myself without addressing it every time. I would do wrong things to other people and have multiples of doing wrong to other people, and I'm not even understanding what I'm doing to myself mentally every time when I'm not addressing that or doing anything to forgive myself. To forgive myself, man. Like I could forgive others eventually, but I wouldn't extend that same grace to myself. It's my disease.
Yeah.
That's my disease, cutting that area of growth off, man. That's how I look at it, right? It's just my disease that just takes hold in those times. So I was quietly destroying myself from the inside out spiritually.
Yeah.
Right. I'd smile on the outside, work the steps, help others, go to meetings, talk about healing and all that. But deep down, man, I was just punishing myself for the past, living. The way I think about it, it was like shame disguised as humility. I'm humble, but I'm really deep down just still shameful because I'm still mad at myself.
Yeah.
I still can't live with myself. I still can't look at myself in the mirror. And it takes a lot of real deep down looking and that rigorous honesty we talk about, being honest with ourselves. It kept me spiritually stuck doing that. So I understand that now I have to forgive myself. And when I think about it full circle, because I think in pictures, right? When I keep a record of my own wrongs and I'm spiritually stuck like that, it's like trying to grow a garden. But when you're growing a garden, uh, you know, that old soil that you've used for 4 or 5, 6 years, that old potting soil that has no minerals in it. You want to go grow this brand new, beautiful garden, but you're planting those new seeds that you just bought in that old soil filled with no nutrients. Or the way I would look at it is like that the soil filled of guilt and shame, and those seeds are not gonna come out to be much if you got shame and guilt and all that other shit around in that soil. It's just not gonna happen, man. It's just not gonna happen. And so I've got to get new soil. I've got to get that new fresh potting soil that has all the nutrients in it, that'll hold the water and actually grow the plant and grow me going forward. Does that make sense? I mean, that's just that's kind of the picture I took. So keeping no records of wrongs isn't about how I treat others. It's about how I treat me today. Because if I can treat myself good, again, here it is again, full circle. I'm going to give it out what I have. Like what I have and who I am is what I'm going to give to you. So if I'm going to be good to myself, if I can forgive myself, if I can love myself, that's the more loving of a person I can be to you. And then full circle, that makes me better, So I just try to stay on that hamster wheel, man. I don't want to get off of that love wheel, man. I'm shit. I don't even have to be running, I don't even have to be running. I'll just be laying on that bitch, rolling around in it. I just need to be on it. Need to be on it, man. So I love you guys, man. I feel like for a long time I didn't deserve forgiveness from anybody, let alone myself. So I've got to be strong enough. I didn't think I was worthy of it. Yeah. Nope, I didn't think I was worthy of it. And then if I did get it, I felt like it was just like some kind of joke, because the ball is gonna drop somehow, some way, right? So I wouldn't even really put stock into it. Like I wouldn't even hold on to it like it was something that I earned, because I didn't feel like I was deserving of it.
I had no desire to change my behavior, so why would you be forgiving me?
Yeah.
Quite simply.
Yeah. I had no desire, but
just like it's just an
no, like it's like I'm not going to change, so forgive me if you want, but look where it's going to get you.
Even the little desire I did have at points, I didn't think that there was an avenue, or I didn't think it was possible. I felt like I was so done, like I was cooked.
There was a long time I had no desire.
Yeah.
There was a long time of no desire to change.
Yeah, it was your decision.
I wasn't dying yet, so it was
exactly.
I wasn't trying.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm not hurting you. Fuck you. Get out of my way, bro. Leave me alone. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
All right.
Man.
So
okay.
I got a question. This one, is it me, right?
You're going to ask me. I'm going to just get 5 minutes on each one so that Brandi could make her dinner on time with her family.
Thank you.
Cool. What time we got to be out of here?
In 14 minutes.
Okay. Yep. Cool.
Okay. So this one I kind of just came up as we were talking. I got a bunch of them, but I felt
Okay.
like this one. So Milan, so how do others' records of wrong affect you?
Ooh, you mean them keeping mine?
Yeah, yeah.
Not as much as they used to. I think that it used to be real shame and almost like puppet action provoking. Like
Mm.
that I felt like they could more be weaponized against me. And now I'm okay with making an amends and just being like, no, like holding to my boundary much more than it was. You know, I now I just okay. I'm gonna say this like so. I got in the car while the relatives were here, and my stepdad, he started criticizing my driving before we even pulled out of park in the gear.
Who?
And I was just like, you know what? I'm like, that's really hurtful. I'm gonna call this an insult. And I'm like, and I'm gonna say that that's not allowed today for you to do that to me. I said, I'm not saying anything negative to you. I'm like, but I don't want to be hurt by your words for something I haven't even done yet. Like if you're saying I'm going to drive like shit today, I'm like, I'm not coming in the car. Like, I'm fine with also not being here. I'm trying to facilitate everybody getting somewhere safely. And I do think I'm the safest driver in this car at this moment, you know?
Yeah.
Ooh,
But I had to define that it was like that record of a wrong is really can be an insult
Set
directly.
boundaries.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know, like if somebody's insulting you, they're judging you, and that's a record of what they're saying, thinking isn't as perfection. Like that is, one of the things about that word wrongs, right? Like it's
Mm.
it's something that isn't right.
Yeah.
And,
yeah,
and and so, for me it was a moment that I'd never defined like that in my relationship with him before. And it made him really quiet, but it certainly made it so he didn't do that again to me.
I was gonna say, how'd he take it? How'd it work out the
Yeah,
rest of
well,
the day?
he got a little sullen, in all honesty. But the thing was, is that I didn't say my response meanly at all. But I definitely stated it as what it was to me,
yeah,
Yeah.
and I feel like it was a victory in our communication. And it was a victory inside myself of
yeah,
starting to say, hey, no, I'm worth something different than what, like I'm worth something to me. And if you don't see that value, it's not okay to tear that down,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah,
Like,
man. Yeah.
because I don't think we have to get mad at somebody doing that. I just think that we can communicate and leave it there. Because
Yeah.
if we let it take us to anger, it, and I know that that's hard in so many circumstances, but I really feel that every time I take it to somewhere where I'm angry, like they win. If you
yeah,
let a jerk make you a jerk, then they win.
yeah,
And I so am trying to just not turn the other cheek, just define what I how I see it, like not hide or like help create their fantasy world where that's an acceptable behavior. you know
mm-hmm,
like I'm like, hey, I don't think that that's acceptable, and I don't think I want to be like on that part of the interaction. So like if we're going to continue this interaction, I don't want to be hurt in it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Beautiful.
great. That's got to be growth on its own if you think about it, because like, and I don't know if you did, but it seems like you wouldn't, like, you would already be making that list. Well, this is why, this and
Yeah.
that. Instead, you were
Mm.
like, you know what? I'm not comfortable with this.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Proud of
the
you.
Mm.
growth.
Proud of
And
you, bro.
Yeah,
honestly, like it had never happened in our relationship before in that kind of
yeah,
communication, and I think it was a win. Like I think it was a win for
yeah. I
everybody.
love that.
Yeah.
I bet he'll
That
think
was
twice about
beautiful.
saying something about your driving before you even start driving next time. Hopefully.
He'll wait.
Yeah.
He'll wait until you run off the road.
At least until you buck at least wait till you buck a curb or two.
Yeah.
You bucked a curb or two, bro. Can I say something now, Milan? You hit 2 curbs, bro. Just joking. All right, so ask me.
So how do others' records of wrong affect you?
I'll answer that in just a second, Milan. Don't ever start my time early.
I had to switch over. I was trying to keep my time.
I love you.
I was keeping a record of time.
me and Brandi and I will gossip about you later. So how do others? So when other people keep my records and my wrongs, like it stirs some deep shit in me. Because like I feel, justified, and I've worked really hard to be here, and I'm not the same person that I used to be, right? So when it's like someone taking an old mugshot of mine and like putting it up against my picture, my Zoom picture now, and being like, this mugshot is attached to the dude that this dude today. That's not how it is, man. That's not how it is. Like, I'm a new person. I've changed, and I work really hard every day to prove that to myself, really, and myself and others, and to stay consistent with that, like I know the harm I caused, the harm I caused, the karma I caused. What the hell, bro? Crazy. But like when
karma caused.
But you can make that a song. The karma house. Like your first country jam by Milan, Starcic.
That's great. That's great.
House.
Hashtag karma house.
Hashtag LLA. Don't. So even when someone brings that shit up like subtly, it can still sting, right? Like if someone brings up who I used to be and I'm not that person anymore, I can get these really, really negative, deep like gashes, like, and I want to lash out because I'm like, I'm not that dude. And what I've realized though, like, it's not my job to judge how they feel about me. That I used to live in that zone. And it's not doing anything for me to be there anymore. I literally have to, when I see myself falling in that lane, I have to let that shit go immediately. I've got to let it go. I got to move on. What it's doing is it's testing my spiritual maturity. Right? It's trying to see how mature I am spiritually in that moment. It shows me where I'm at with forgiveness. Right? It shows me out where I'm with acceptance. It shows me out where I'm with this humility process. When early on in recovery, when people judged me and I knew they were keeping a record of my past and my wrongs, like I would get really, really angry and really defensive. But because I felt like misunderstood, they didn't see it. They don't see how hard I've worked to get here, right? Still treating me like the person I used to be, but we're now looking back at it, obviously knowing who I am today through my experience and prayers and the steps, and like I can't control whether people let go of my past. Right? It's not. I'm moving on. I can't that's them. Really hard though, man. That's one of the toughest things to do, man, is to keep that for what it is. Like I can't let what other people think about my process bother me in any way. Or at least not let it scratch the surface. Like it can hit me, but I can't let it get in. I can't let it get in because I'm just going backwards at that point. Right? And it's not doing me any good. I'm not doing anybody any good trying to make you realize and try to bridge that gap. I just got to live today how I live, man. And eventually you'll see how I live if you're around me long enough. If not, that's fine too.
Yeah.
That's fine too. So, when someone holds on, I got a minute left. When someone holds on to that record, like I have a choice that I can let it drag me back into that old way of thinking, like all that guilt and self-pity and shit, or I can use it as a reminder for how I'm getting better today and how I'm learning to be better than that today. And how I've been given this grace and all this love and it's transformed my life, right? And I don't have to defend myself anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of people who defend themselves is because they haven't forgiven themselves for whatever it is. From what I've seen, it's because they truly have not forgiven themselves. It's why they're going to go to the end. They'll fight on that. They'll fight to the death because they haven't forgiven themselves yet. Probably don't know how to. you know, and so eventually it'll work. It'll happen for them too. Cause I pray for everybody. I love everybody because we help each other recover. Right. And that's what it's about. So,
Yeah.
so today's about being honest and really coming to the table with who I am. Right. And being able to look somebody in the face. Cause I'm not wrapped up in who I think I need to be anymore today. Finally, man. Finally. So
You
I
are
love
who you
you.
are. You're just not
I
like
am, I am, man.
you don't have to keep up an image.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Hairy face and all, man.
Yeah.
Andrew Ham Lincoln.
Right.
Andrew Ham Lincoln, silly bastard. That silly kid trickster for
You guys
kids.
are silly tonight. I love it.
Oh
I
man,
love it.
that's that night
Okay.
air.
Right? It must be. So how do others' records of wrong affect me? You know, I like how you said, Andrew, like I don't have to be defensive about stuff. I don't like people. I mean, I don't want people to have records. I don't want to be like, if I've wronged you, like, let's talk about it. I don't want you to keep a record either, because it doesn't feel good. But at the same time, I don't have to defend it. You know, it could be how maybe they're looking at it, or maybe you know, majority of the time, especially if I've come across it today, that's not who I am today. And all I can do is just hope that they kind of work through it, because I'm that's not who I am. Like I've had that come up a few times. Like my son was talking about with school shopping. He's like, "Oh, you get really you get really upset when we go school shopping," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't act like that anymore. Like I don't, you know, like things that I would just pop off real quickly. You know, like I can't think of a time in the last 4+ years that I've done that. And so if you still hold on to it, I'm sorry, but I don't feel I can you know, feed into it for you, because that's just it. Like I did always, and I mean, obviously to a point, I care what people think. You know, obviously I want to be a good person, but it doesn't bother me anymore, because I know who I am. I don't have to be like, but I'm this and that, so you shouldn't feel that way. Like, I'm a human. I might make mistakes. I might offend you sometimes, and you might offend me. But the best thing I could do right now is talk about it, or surrender it, because you know it's a
Go
whole.
paint a
And I
rock.
think go paint a rock. Exactly, exactly. And so it's like when people have theirs, if anything, I feel bad for them, because, and not like a pity way, but like I know how it is. I know how you're feeling right now, and it ain't gonna do nothing for anybody except for you. And so, you know, just kind of hope that they can see different, you know. And again, we can't make anyone, you know, look at us differently. Like my sister, who I haven't spoke to in I don't even know how
Hmm.
long. And when we did speak, it was just bad. And she's just
Pray for
got
her.
this, yeah. Oh man, please, because like she's got this like list of wrongs that I've done to her, and you know, rather be emotional or whatever, and she still holds it. You know, I've tried my part, and given her the opportunity to like see it, and she just wants to hold on to it. And there's nothing I can do about it. Let her carry it, I guess. I'm not that person. I've said my amends. I've you know, moved on. I'm a different person, and I'm not going to be a whipping post, that's for sure. she was she was the main whooper of all. But it's you know, when someone else has it, all I can do is just, you know, if there's anything I could do to make you feel better, like maybe this was you know, maybe it's a miscommunication, but we do it, you know, like we can maybe make our own, but we can't go around thinking no one's got one about us. And but again, it's like, how do we know why they have this, you know? And like they don't know why, you know, I might feel this way about somebody and they don't know about it, and unless they listen to this podcast, then they know that they need to work on the mute button. Just joking.
Don't remind him. I mean them. Now he knows it's a him. Damn it. That's so funny.
You did say this dude, like
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Mom,
that implies a
Mom.
penis.
What's up, Mom?
Yeah.
There's a penis implication.
I'm on the phone, guys. You can hold it.
Yeah,
What's up?
yeah, okay. But you know, yeah, we can't help how other people deal with stuff, and how they look at stuff, and how they look at us.
Got
You know, I
paperwork
think
to
if
do
we
now.
focus, yeah, if we just focus on our growth, they'll see. And if it's something that's really, really a bad thing, then there will be a time to talk about it and make amends with it. Because I don't want anything out there that, you know, if there's something I got to work on, that's like a big thing. Like I want to work towards it. I don't want to work away from it. And so I don't want to be anyone's list, but I don't think anybody wants to be on mine either. I'll leave it there.
Love you, Brandi.
Yeah. I love you guys.
I think, it's like a comparative analysis of the value of our peace and serenity. You want a record or you want peace and serenity, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
A couple things to take us out real quick, man. Remember this. I'm fucking dumb.
Tune in next episode.
No. There's always someone watching or observing you that is capable of giving you your next blessing or saving your life. So always remember that. Someone is always watching you that is capable of saving your life. And my God and my higher power has made stepping stools out of my enemies, and I pray for them every single day, man. And I love you guys.
I love that.
There was one other thing that I had that was so awesome I wanted to say, but I can't fucking remember it. Love you guys, man. That's it.
Tune in next episode for more recovery flow. Bye-bye, everybody. I love you.
I love you guys.
Please help us help others. If you like what you've seen here today, please subscribe and share this podcast and help us get to 100 followers. We're looking for interaction with our audience. So please email recoveryfreedomrising@gmail.com or contact Milan South Okanagan Starcic on Facebook with questions, topic suggestions, or just comments. We'd love to hear from you.